very long time. What happened was my computer crashed on Safari, not Safari, on Google Chrome, and it's like in this weird thing or spot where the stream apparently was saved, but then it's also saying that the stream is still going on. I don't know how that's possible. So I'm I've tried to make another stream for my computer because it hurts my hand to hold my camera for 30, 40, 50, 60 minutes. Um, but it won't let me log in. Is then when I go to the live, so whenever I would do a stream on my computer, I would go to the live part, and then it would let me go to it from there, start the stream. That is, for some stupid reason, it's been showing me like this series of stuff, and it's talking about sending it my stream software. When before, just as recently as literally less than an hour ago, it would just say, title of stream, do you want to monetize it, all the usual stuff. So they just YouTube partially, even though it was my computer that screwed it up. YouTube is, I guess, in cahoots with it. They're trying to be the new villains. I don't like this feature of having my hand because it's very uncomfortable for me to do this for a long time. Yeah, this is awful. I really I hope it doesn't stay like this because then I'll only be able to do streams from my phone, which is if that's the case, I won't even stream anymore because I'm not about to sit here and break my arm for 10 views. That's stupid. I don't know what's wrong with this website. No, my computer crashed on Chrome, but I'm saying that I was going to do another stream from my computer after I close some stuff out, and then YouTube won't let me. It's talking about I need to upload streaming software. So it looks the way it's doing on the phone is the same way it was doing on my computer, but I'm saying that it's really weird because it didn't do that when I set up the stream literally less than an hour ago. Well, it would make sense for a crappy year to close out with a crappy stream, so they all are in tandem with each other. Now I can have a broken arm for the rest of the year. Such a lovely equation. Jesus Christ. And then I got a slower reaction time on the mic muting because I have people that like to walk in, they hear you talking to somebody, they don't care. Because this is literally the YouTube barn where, or this is the literal barn where people just don't care and they just walk in and interrupt something. I really just hate that when that happens with streams because if I'm making points progressively through it, it's difficult to just reiterate all of that and think somebody wants to hear that again. And then you have those that don't catch it live who will think they're missing some context. So it's just a really aggravating website. Hey, let's have him break his arm for a stream because our stream software setup thing changed 5 seconds after he made the other stream. What a great idea. Break my arm. No, I was talking about how every time I see a new child that's born, it's always unplanned. Like, I can name at least 5 or 6 children that have been born in the last, I think, 7 years. And it that again of people I personally know, and it's always unplanned. It's always just two idiots getting in a bed, jumping in, screwing. And then when you have a person like myself who tries to break the cycle and tries to like actively plot it out, they tell you to go screw yourself. You're not good enough for any of these chicks. Like I said, I had a broad who literally told me that it would make sense to hide the fact that that's something I want to do. Like, so I would want to start a supposedly lifelong relationship with someone built on a lie, to be a manipulator, to be a BS artist. Yeah, but again, it's back up and running at the expense of my arm. Be one thing if a movie star has to find support a baby being in the world by accident, but it's often those. Well, like I said, and I don't say this to brag, I am richer than Dingbat with the baby and her man combined. And like I've got these people on this website who are telling me about the wealth I need to procure to go on a damn date, but then these two people who are both poor, you know, are with each other for 5, 6, 7 years. So again, when people come on here and start telling you about all your fatal flaws and things you need to work on, every time they do that, I can always find some trait that they're listing uh, in a person that doesn't have it and was still able to get this thing that they're claiming you can only have if you do this specific trait or if you have this specific thing. I just think it's really sad that people respond to someone criticizing the behavior of chicks by talking about the way he looks. Because I remember when I was younger, they would say, "Oh, you know, women have had to deal with the patriarchy and men that just go around and talk about the way they look and don't judge them for their characters." Like, well, couldn't you make the exact same claim about what's happening to me on this website, where I have people who respond to videos that are about identifying ridiculous behavior by talking about the way that person looks? Isn't that literally them doing to a man what they're supposed to usually be doing to chicks? And when you prove their narrative to be wrong, that's when they just criticize you nonetheless. Yeah. Just like the guy that came on here talking about you got to go to the gym to get abroad. If I wanted to, if I didn't care about not getting in trouble with this website for bullying, I would post the pictures of various male YouTubers on this site who some of them even themselves admit are overweight, are married or have a girlfriend. I don't think there is a single, in my opinion, specific thing you can do that will automatically make every single woman not interested in you. Because we've had child molesters who have girlfriends, we've had child killers that have girlfriends, we've had serial killers with wives. Like I don't, some of whom, in the case of Ramirez, even got married after they were found out to murder a bunch of people. They don't care. Like I don't know where it's this idea came from that you as a man have some specific personality or set of traits that is like so off-putting and undesirable to all of these broads, because again, not all of us are the same and we're all getting the same stupid result. So that's why I don't get these over analysis. Oh, if I just psychoanalyze this one man, I can figure out why this is happening to so many of them. Man, it's more than that, because Manson didn't kill anybody. Dahmer, you know, with him, the Ramirez thing I always remember because I'll never forget when I made a video on him after he died and all his groupies came over to my video talking about I should be dead and I'm gonna burn in hell and nobody's gonna remember me after I die and all this stupid trash. Yeah, Bundy had groupies too. Again, when people tell you that like the way you are is not good enough for a broad, they are telling you you are worse than serial killers. Because remember, the guy who said I was mediocre, his entire reason for saying that about me is hinged on me not getting with the chick. So by that logic, people like Hitler or Stalin are better than me simply for having a woman, I guess, want to be with them at some point. you end up going out of your way trying to appease women, but you realize, hey, is this really worth it? Well, that's why I said that with that gym thing, I don't besmirch anyone who wants to go there, for whatever reason that they have, but I think it's screwed up to tell somebody you need to go to do this physical extraneous exercise not because you want to improve your physique or you feel as if you're not in shape or good health or whatever, but because you think it's going to net you a woman who these people online are telling you is magically going to be attracted to you after you do this. Oh my god, retard alert. Sorry, I thought somebody that I don't want to talk to was trying to speak to me because I'm not in the mood. Like this stream thing really pissed me off because I think good points were being made during that. Oh, I can't wait to have somebody get offended I use that term, even though people have called me all kind of nasty stuff on here. That's a funny way for that to work. You get insulted by people and they get to call you a future terrorist and rapist and all this other stuff, but then when you say something offensive, then it's like the end of the world. Because again, I said there is a literal character arc in my romance videos. Like the early ones I made, I was respectful. I didn't call anybody out of their name. And then what happened? They started insulting me and attacking me. Like, okay, well then, to hell with being civilized or polite. If you get to, besmirch me, it's only fair that the same fate would befall you. God, this website will drive you nuts. Just the stuff people write, the changes that they make, all of it together is just a big heap of garbage. But yeah, that broad thing really has made people lose their minds. Like they at a certain point don't even care what they're typing anymore. They just say things to make themselves feel better. Is YouTube still acting stupid? Yeah. So when I would start a stream, I would just have to fill out the name of it and the monetization status and just basic info and then take a picture. It's showing me some weird thing about like what password I want to use and do I want to have a stream software. So that's why I just said I'd rather just do it on my phone instead because it's not as confusing. Even though it is again hard on my hand, but whatever. Yeah, this is really ridiculous. But yeah, I don't know what causes people to have that thing where they just you have to all you have to do all that to do a live stream. Yeah, and it wasn't that way when I started the other one. Hold on a second. It's like a shark circling its prey. I just hate getting interrupted when I do these things. Like I don't know what it takes for people to just recognize someone is doing something, leave them alone. But again, apparently that's too much to ask or request. I already did that with the rude live stream. I was talking about how you have a person who interrupts you, and then you give the hypothetical of, well, actually, you give them two different scenarios at different points. You tell them, hey, no, I'm on the phone. They get mad, and then if you let them run their mouths and you say something after that, they get mad. So it's the same thing with the chick stuff. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I just think it's really insane to try and you know tell a man that he is of lesser quality than other people for not being with a broad. Because I haven't seen that done to chicks. I don't see anyone using their vagina to attack them with, like, whether they're getting screwed or not. It's such a weird. Like I said, they've actually taken a lot of the things that people said are done to chicks and like they use them directed toward me. It's this weird uh, repurposing of old tropes to attack somebody else. My live chat just died out. They said we're not even gonna write anything anymore. We'll get him to throw his arm down. But yeah, what I said during the last stream was that, in reference to Dingbat with the baby, you have a broad who um, didn't have to register for any stupid dating websites, didn't have to go to the gym, was literally homeless, and then she's able to keep not only a partner, but also is able to get him to pay for her crap. Uh, and people think that that's a fair circumstance that someone can just have to do none of this stuff that people request a man to do to get a date. But they're completely complicit in the double standards. Jesus Christ, my arm. I'm not supposed to say the Lord's name in vain, but this is really hurting. Let's see what else is up here. No one has anything to say. We were having a pretty decent dialogue, and it just got ruined. That's the kind of mentality that can break someone down mentally and making them think their existence only valued if they have or had a chick in their lives. Well, you saw the clown who wrote to me that only platonic relationships isn't a way to live. So he is admitting that he cannot live without having, some broad interested in him, which is very dangerous because the person you will spend the most time of your life with is yourself. So I would argue it's not healthy to not be able to at least be content with being by yourself because it's a default option at various points. Because you can't control if a broad finds you attractive or not. It just hurts. Like if I have it in that same position, it starts hurting. But again, if it's not doing that anymore, it'll heal, and then the other one will hurt, and then I'll grab it with the other hand, and then the other one will heal, and then that one will hurt again, and it'll just keeps playing hot potato with my hands. Oh, it's definitely a big shame, but what's even more disgraceful is the idea that you could call someone mediocre simply for not like there are so many awful things you can do to people, like to where someone could call you mediocre and it would be an appropriate terming of you, and you're called that not because you've hurt someone or stolen from someone, but because you're not with someone. And again, the broader implications alone make what he said very disturbing. Like that, I wish that stream was in October because then we could say that was like a Halloween horror comment that's supposed to make you just be really scared and disturbed. Yeah, people have really just they've let the chick stuff go to their head to such an extent that they don't even think when they say things anymore. Like I told you about a certain person who will remain nameless that what was the stupid thing she said that um I didn't come off to her as someone that like oh let me backtrack and just clarify everything. First she said in response to me saying that if you had to be a certain age to get with someone, how were these classmates of mine able to get in relationships? And her response to that was to say, oh, some of them were more outgoing and blah, 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 blah. And then to conclude that I don't come across to her as someone that just wants a date. But then she admits that I probably don't have the same personality that I did when I was, when this started. So her characterization of me currently cannot explain away my lack of success in the past if I supposedly had a different personality at the time. So again, that's a contradictory argument that is being made by a person who just wants to justify stupidness. People would respect you more if you robbed a house with a mother in it and her baby compared to if you can't get a girlfriend. It really is like that with some people's mentality. And like I said, I'm so sick and tired of watching my like who I am be attacked when there are people who are objectively worse that have been able to get with partners. I can name multiple serial killers, child killers, terrorists that have wives and girlfriends. And people like the reason that's something that is important to point out is that no person on the internet that whose sole crime is having a different opinion from you will ever be worse than any of those people. Nobody has died for me doing a video. No one has gone hungry for me doing a stream. But for some reason, I have to watch these people try to tell me about your personality must be this and you must do that. As if that's any worse than the people who do this other stuff that still have different relationships with chicks because your personality really is not a factor. There's all kind of different people that they get attracted to. Okay, Megumi says they put their ideas in their minds. Then they get so surprised when someone commits to mass violence and killing others due to not being accepted by chicks. Yeah, they literally create the cycle of violence because they say to this man, the only thing that matters is getting with the broad. So he doesn't get it when he feels like he has nothing to live for. And then he goes out and does something evil. And then they mock him and they cite that as the reason for why he wasn't able to get with someone, even though this is literally their monster. They're like Frankenstein and the Doctor, where they power him up. They power up the monster to go out and get people by filling his head with a bunch of delusions of how the only thing you can ever do is get accepted by some random broad. And like I said, the other part is to get to my nerves is they're really trying to turn broads who are just human beings like you and I with, you know, a different sex organ and some melons in front of their face and make them out to be the great deciders of who's worth the damn and who isn't. Like, what have any of these random broads, like not broads in general, but just these random chicks that you might go out and talk to, what have any of them accomplished to where they can assess to where being with one of them would automatically mean I'm no longer mediocre? What have they in general done that makes them so much better than men? I don't understand. That's why I said when you start doing the romance scapegoat stuff, the broader implications of that really makes is very disturbing because people are trying to tell you that you are a lesser person because you're not a broad. That you exist to be subservient to them, and whether they like you or not determines of how good of a person you are. I could go around my whole neighborhood, uh, I don't know, picking flowers and doing people's lawns and helping the needy, but if I'm not with the woman, I'm not I'm not a good person. I'm not a high tier person. So let's say I just giving the example of triple not triple O, the dingbat with the baby. That's a person who again is poor as well as the guy that she's with, but by their logic, these people are not mediocre because they're with each other, even if they are actively destroying a child's life by not having enough money to take care of it and knowing that when they screwed each other. And I mentioned this during the last stream before the stupid stuff happened, that there are chicks on this website who admit to preferring the screw without condoms, regardless of if it gets them knocked up or not, and how this same mindset and mentality is literally what was conveyed with the dingbat with the baby, where these people get behind these sheets with no care or concern for what happens afterwards. It's just the momentary insta fix of getting screwed that is that weighs and has more importance to them than if they ruin somebody's life by not by bringing a child into the world that they can't take care of. Yeah, this is so lame. I hate this so much. Like both this camera, like just having to hold it like this, and then also the whole situation with broads, because they really make people's minds turn to mush. Like they don't even care. They just start spamming stuff in the comment section and start saying things they have no proof of, which is what I was talking about when I was mentioning the one person who said that you must approach chicks in a weird way, even though I've never put up a video of me approaching any of them. And the other person who said that the ones I approach are too good looking for me, and I'm like, this is not helping anyone at all. This is just people writing stupid stuff that makes them feel better about someone else's situation, someone they've never met before. You know, they can assume all this nasty stuff about because it makes them feel better. It was the same thing with the people writing the comments about, oh, you're so ugly. I'm like, well, I mean, there are a lot of chicks that I don't find attractive that are still able to get with men. So what does me as one person thinking someone's ugly have to do with whether they can get with someone out of all the people in this world? Like, it's just all of it is so dumb. Yeah, stupid and backwards. Like I said, that guy on that stream was just all over the place. Like you start with go to the gym for self improvement, and then you segue into, but you need to have your relationships matter with people, even though I've never seen how your relationships with people who are not chicks actually are, and you also need to worry about broads, and it was all over the place. Like it segued from, again, and I mentioned this during my stream, the one that got yanked. If he had just done his little go to the gym nonsense, it would have been stupid, but it at least would have been something that he seemingly believed in. When you start backtracking to talking about, and you were there, James, you remember when you start going into these weird philosophical things about how you'll be remembered for the impact that you had on people versus your finances. It doesn't have anything to do with like you've strayed at that point so far from the merits of this gym approach that it who can take you seriously anymore. You don't come off as someone who's actually trying to peddle an idea because they believe in it so much, but rather a person who just wants to run their mouth and be, as antagonistic and contrarian as possible. And my favorite part, and the reason he got blocked, was over the little stupid thing about I'm concerned about your growth, and then it's some you've never seen that clown on any video commenting on mine, and nor on any stream prior to that, and you're concerned about my growth because you showed up for one stream and ran your mouth for 30 minutes. What a commitment, Magumi! Imagine if I had a kid who like in the first 2 years that they're alive, I come to visit them during the second year for one day and run my mouth for 30 minutes. And I'm like, I'm concerned about the growth of my child. If I was, they would have seen me before it's 2 years into their life. Lying bastard. No, it was very crazy. Well, I'm not talking about you, Dio. I'm talking about this other person that. By the way, I actually, Megumi, I told you I made a mistake with that guy because when he didn't believe that I had gone to the gym, which I wasn't even saying I had, I was just saying he doesn't know for a fact that that was something I'd never done. I should have said, well, if we're going off of your bad faith, assuming logic, I shouldn't believe that you're with a woman or that you even are in shape. Because remember, his profile picture was some random, you know, NFL player. So what do you get what I'm saying of how these people don't want to take you at your word for anything, but then they want you to take them at their word? How does that work? And how is that fair? But that's why I said the whole chick thing has caused people to be these hyper emotional, contradictory argument having clowns. Like they don't, they're not saying anything worth listening to. Like their criticisms are literally a waste of time. Like imagine if somebody did a review of, I don't know, Spider-Man 3, and let's say I like that film, and then instead of me expressing why the points they're making about why they don't like this film are wrong, I start talking about the way that the person who's doing the video looks and how they should get a different background and all, like just stuff that has nothing to do with what they're actually talking about. Because that's literally the chick stuff every time. You talk about ridiculous behavior on their part, and then in response to that, you have these people writing paragraphs about they don't find you pretty and you need to do this, that, and the other. And then you know it's a bunch of BS because you've seen men who don't have those things get with women. Like I said, real life always trumps stuff that people write in my comment section. So if somebody writes to me that, you know, you have to have a master's degree, or like, I've had people actually say getting a degree is like going to help, but then most people don't have degrees, and there are a bunch of people who don't have degrees that have still been able to get dates. So it's like, I mean, hell, when I was in seventh grade and I saw classmates like getting together, they didn't even have a diploma and they still were able to get with each other. So, like, why would I believe that? But they still spout their nonsense bickering, anyways. Yeah, but most of the time, I don't engage with it. Like, that only happened because when I'm doing a stream, usually I am trying to speak to people on there. So, you know, that was just you know, a flighting annoyance. Bring out the worst in men, the absolute worst. I think more so than men bringing out the worst in women. Like I said, if I was in the situation of the dingbat with the baby and I had some woman paying for my storage unit while I was suspected by her of cheating on her, I would be considered ungrateful. I would be considered dead weight. Like, this broad was literally able to just get away with having this guy foot the bill for her for a year just so he could have less money when they had a child 2 3 years later. Like, I don't, it just seems like this big weird way in which she managed to cripple this guy financially, and no one points out the contradiction. Like I said, there's a part of me that does feel bad for the guy because he did lose a lot of money for a stupid broad, but he chose to participate in her nonsense. So I told you on that stream it was funny watching some of those romance guys get mad because I had my brother on there. And I was thinking, I even said this on the stream. It's like, you're going to get mad at me for having this boy listen to, or rather hear me read the stuff you're writing about chicks, which, he sees online all the time anyway. But you're not going to get mad at people who abuse children, who beat them, who kill them. But you're such excellent protectors of the next generation. Yeah. So many contradictions, so little time. It's funny, Megumi, because they literally don't know how old that boy is, and they're gonna sit over here talking about, I don't think a little kid should be hearing this. You have his birth certificate? No. Okay, well then you're just assuming based off of his voice. Yeah, it definitely makes sense. Because people do really evil things to children, but I don't think one of the evil things is having a child sit on a couch as I discuss something on a stream, especially something that he's well aware of. No, it just sucks that this chick stuff makes people's brains go to mush because, again, I believe in legitimate criticisms that can be directed toward my stuff. But I'm not really seeing that when I have people that are whining about the way another man looks. Like, if a woman made videos talking trash about men, I would listen to the points that are being conveyed. And even if I thought she wasn't attractive, I would still address what she's saying. because that's literally the point of the video. It's not like she did a video where she was like, "Oh my God, look at how pretty I am." She didn't do that. And again, in this hypothetical, you have any example of someone giving you a legit critique that you felt added to your life in regards to the women stuff? No, it's just a bunch of people writing nonsense. Uh, this will eventually stop in 5, 10, 15 years, even though it's been the exact same for 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. Like, no one is writing any, the closest I get to critiques is always some work on yourself crap so that they can use that as an excuse to start attacking me, you know, which again, if I, that's like just being a troll. You're not actually addressing anything that's being conveyed. Like, I'm not even playing. This is the one thing I've seen where they almost have nothing. I've gotten that stupid crap numerous times from some others before. I had one person who 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, it was right after I did that stream because I was talking to somebody over the phone, and it was like an older person, like in their 40s, and they were like, "Women don't want to hear about politics." I'm like, right. That's why none of the senators or congressmen or governors are married. Everybody's single because there are no women that want to. That's why we don't have any female representatives or senators because no women don't want to hear about politics. That's why we have no female political commentators. Again, people just say stupid stuff, and then this person is also dumb because they've never seen me interact with a single broad before, except one time where I wasn't even talking about that. So they just have to assume these things to make themselves feel better about a ridiculous situation that pretty much anyone with male genitalia has had to deal with over the last couple of years. Yeah, oh, it definitely a blanket statement, but again, I don't take it seriously anyway because I can easily debunk it. It's just really sad that I'll get the same commentary in real life that I would get from somebody online who's never met me. I mean, look, conversations I have with people tend to be very, what's a good way of saying it, wide ranging. Like, I was talking to somebody before I did this stream. We talked about Dragon Ball, we talked about Marvel, DC. There was a little bit of the news in there. Like, I usually, very seldom, and that's why I don't really like being associated with those like chick groups because all they do is talk about broads. Like, I'm good. I don't need to just talk about one thing by itself forever. I told you I can't get over seeing Jimmy like they said that this I know you don't care about politics, Megumi, but they said that a married man was part of the I word group for because he criticized a female politician in some videos. It's funny too because the same politician he's criticizing, in like almost every video I've done on her, I've praised her. So like, even though I would get called the same word, they would call me it for different reasons. Like it, you know what I'm saying? It's just funny that like this word literally means man that criticizes women, no matter if he's married or, you know, has a girlfriend, whatever. Yeah, these groups are meant to be consumed in small doses. After a while, it gets weird. We know Megumi's married and he doesn't even. By the way, this guy made a video making fun of romance groups, but he's part of one because he criticized a female politician in some videos, even though he's married. They called the quartering. Yes, Dio. Yes, this like that word is literally the new N word. Where you know how with the N word that people just have such a liberal use of it, where they get offended when people that aren't black call them that, or sometimes they'll get offended if it's said by a certain person. They use that word so much like a woman's tampon. Megumi, isn't the I word the new N word? where it's like it's just this thing that doesn't even mean anything anymore. One thing the internet are experts and geniuses on is throwing terms out. Like when they were calling everybody racist 3 years ago. He said this about this person, that's racist. You know, I had somebody say I was messed up for saying that I would want a black partner, like a want to date a black woman over anyone of any other race, even though most people date people that are the same ethnicity as them, and that's a fact. Like, I'm literally racist for doing something that everybody does. And I didn't even say I was opposed to other, because there are people who will not date you. Like on what's that website? The one that got taken down a few years ago. The website with the different, like, there are prostitutes who used to post ads on a back page, and they would say, "Don't I won't date you or I won't go out with you if you're black." But nobody called them racist. Megumi said, "Eh." Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I said, "Really?" It's funny too. They call people and but they have no clue of sexual marketplace dynamics differences between men and women. I mean, I'm just tired of people throwing out terms that don't mean anything anymore. Like, if that word is just going to mean man that criticizes women, then you can literally say that about every single man that has ever existed. There is no man who has never criticized the behavior of a woman. Because sometimes women do things that we agree with, sometimes they do stupid stuff. And you should be allowed to call it out just like you call out the behavior of a man. It's only sexist when you criticize women for it, but not men. But they've literally turned this word into we will call you this if you criticize a woman ever. Yes, on one of my videos, like 2 years ago, somebody got mad because I said I would prefer to date a black woman over other ethnic groups, although I am still open to dating other groups as well. This is just what they do. They get mad at you for everything. Told you on this website, I have had people criticize my voice, what I was wearing. Um, I had someone make some nasty comments about wanting to punch me in the face. You know, just this is not. This is a site of simpletons and people with mental instability, just from the commentary that they put out there. Exactly, you're automatically the I word if you criticize a woman on anything, and now it's extending to politics. But again, they only use it for people like these are liberals who are saying this. So if I criticize Liz Cheney, I could do 100 videos criticizing that lady, and they wouldn't have a problem with it. Which they shouldn't if they don't agree with her. But you know, like, why does? I just think that's a really like. Imagine if I called chicks. Um, I don't. I'm trying to think of some term, just some word because they criticized me for something that is like exclusive to them being abroad. Like if I said every broad that criticizes me was a bimbo, do you know how much backlash I would get over that? The funny thing is they're lumping in racist with sexist now too, like they're synonymous. Yeah, they don't words mean nothing anymore. LO, the men that don't criticize them are actually white knights and don't want equality. Yeah, I don't think anyone is above critique. And like I don't know, like Jimmy criticized Rokana. That's my favorite member of the house, and I still watch him because I think there are things you can criticize that man over. Like none of these politicians are supposed to be so much liked by us. Really, nobody that's famous, but in general, to where like we can never accept that they've done something wrong or can be criticized. Like this is nuts. Yeah, my arm is just Jesus. So this website has shown me that there is a serious mental deficit from people. Like, it's not even funny. Like, I make fun of some of the comments when I do the edited romance videos, but it really is not amusing when you really think about it, because if these people got their way, you would get turned down by chicks year after year, right? And then you would not be allowed to say anything about it. Or if you did say something about it, you had to say it in a way that they like. So chicks can come on here and talk about men are garbage and trash and awful. But if you say some women do this and this makes me angry because of yada, 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 you're part of the I group, Mr. Celibate. Like, what the hell? Because again, I've never, Megumi, if you don't believe me, you can go look through all my videos. I've never put that group's name in any of my stuff, them or that other, none of those teams. And then members of that team, along with people that are like against them, put you in that group. So that's why I said people that get turned down by chicks, and then like the men or women that defend the chicks that do that, they're literally two halves of the same coin, because they don't take the time to see what someone's specific grievances are, and they blanket statement everybody that has a specific view. You know, it's amazing how similar they are, even though they supposedly have different experiences. It's crazy how that works. There's something seriously wrong with people online, and I don't know if it's purposeful ignorance. I don't know if it's just stupidity, but there's something wrong. Like, it's one thing to not agree with someone's criticisms. It's another to tell them they don't have the right to do it, and to act like they're like, I want to know who wouldn't be upset if they get turned down year after year. If chicks are so different and we're supposed to believe they all have distinct personalities, who wouldn't get mad if they get the same result over and over again? That's why with a lot of the videos I do on them, I try to not sound like I'm screaming or angry, because all they do is act like that somehow invalidates very accurate points on the ridiculous behavior that they have, the homogenized behavior of all of them acting the same. They are intellectually lazy. People love wearing the badge of social justice, so they need to fight these ghosts in their heads. Yeah, but they're fighting critiques with nonsense. Like, Envoy, if you did a video on a broad or on broads, and I say, oh, you probably approach in a weird way, and you've never done a video showing you approaching, that's nonsense. If I go on your video and in response to you conveying points, I say you're probably ugly, that's nonsense. If I go on your video in response to your points, say that all the chicks you approached are so amazingly beautiful, that's nonsense. Like, these are not individuals that I give the time of day, because they're not saying anything worth listening to. And it's not just them. There are people in real life that when they start talking about this, just turn your brain off, because they're not saying anything worth a damn. Like, imagine a broad coming on this website and talking about getting turned down by a bunch of men who in some cases say they find her attractive, smart, all the other little nice praise words they use. And then my response to tell her that there's something wrong with her. Well, hell, if there was something that was so wrong with her, how did she get these men to talk to her in the first place with pixie dust? Like, how does that work, that there's something wrong with this man, but then he gets all these chicks to speak to him for weeks and months, and in some cases, try to like keep him around after they say no, which has been attempted by a bunch of different broads, where, they try to friend zone you. How does that work? If this man is so worthless, so awful, so mediocre, so garbage, how does he get these chicks to talk to him? A short video about Michelle. I did a video on her like 4, 5, 6, 7 months ago. I just want somebody to explain that contradiction that you get all these chicks to speak to you for some extended period to where some of them even want to still speak to you after turning you down. And then, you have these people who've never met you that are like able to tell you how bad of a personality you have. I don't get upset. I just become more uncaring, which is more concerning. No, I don't understand that contradiction. If my personality was so rancid, why do these chicks want to speak to me? Like I don't get it. What magic tool am I using to make them want to talk to me for months and weeks? If I'm so bad. So I said a lot of the arguments against my points, I don't really find to have much value in them because it's just people throwing a bunch of stuff at a wall and hoping something sticks. But again, it's really not merited that much because they're not actually saying things that are worth listening to. Because it's not based off of, see, and this is the problem with this stuff when you don't have information on someone's life. Like when I tell you about the dingbat with the baby, I can criticize that person and have those critiques hold more weight than when people criticize me here because that's somebody I've actually known for years. The sad thing is that's an actual ego stroke for the broads to show interest for a bit and then turn you down. So essentially wasting your time and theirs. Yeah, I don't get it. Like who wants to keep doing that year after year? What person who values their time and has basic pattern recognition skills would not look at a years long thing of getting turned down by chicks and say, maybe this isn't worth it. Maybe this is not going anywhere. And then people who weren't there, make you the villain. Oh, you must have this bad personality, even though I've never met you. Again, my personality can't be any worse than literal serial killers and dictators, who again are able to get with chicks. But let's spin that lie and that narrative. And then they always tell you that you need to be able to provide for the chick. What the hell do they provide? Like I've never seen anybody say what will chicks offer you besides getting in a bed. Oh, here we go with the romance prophets. Where's James when I need him? Oh, he must have vanished. What gets me is that if a man is cheated on by his wife slash girlfriend, is directs his anger to the other guy who is basically a stranger, it's never her fault. Yeah, they always find a way to protect the chick. Like that's why I really don't like a lot of the like speaking to a lot of these people because I think when you're able to have a situation where you can only find a problem with the guy but never with the chick, there's an issue there because it means you're just purposely trying to defend the broad no matter what. Okay, if he's such an expert, go watch him. Hey James, the romance crew coming through doing their thing. So annoying, I gotta sing. Yeah, women provide. Being your woman, their existence is them providing. I'm telling you, I've never seen someone explain what is it about these chicks other than getting screwed that they offer that's like so amazing and wonderful. Yeah, yeah. Why do they do that, James? They just come over here.
If you watch him, he'll show you the way.
Who are you cursing at? Hey, listen. This isn't. What is his name? SZ. I don't know. We're just gonna call you SZ. This isn't a trash TV talk show. You will talk in turn, and you will do so without profanity, or you will leave. Must really think you're on Jerry Springer. Yeah, Megumi, we're over having a civilized dialogue like a bunch of statesmen, and then somebody comes in here swearing, like they live in the zoo. Yeah. Again, when they call you bitter, I mean, if I conceded that, it still doesn't. Yeah, who are you cursing at? Talk in turn. This isn't a trash TV talk show. Over here swearing at somebody. This isn't a rated R film either. Now articulate without profanity why people should watch this person. Over here cursing at somebody. Envoy says a woman can say I provide companionship, a friend, emotional support, a business partner, but say stuff like sex, almost damn near degrading themselves. Yeah. Well, again, this is what you need to understand. I do see value in having people that I guess support you emotionally, but if the situation was reversed and you told a woman what was it? I can provide companionship, friendship, emotional support, you would be laughed at as a man because you have these people on here who tell you that you need to have six figures and look this way and all this stuff. So what I'm conveying to you is that while those things might be something you as a man would want, if the situation were reversed, you could provide those things and still, be considered not good enough by people who aren't even in a relationship nonetheless. Attacked him on expert's part, what? Well, at least you stopped the cursing. Yeah, this isn't a an extension of the Maury series. No one is saying you are not the father. We over here we talk in turn. If you want to curse somebody out, go yell at traffic. Okay, I attacked him on expert part, and then you said me. So are you talking in third person? Can say I provide companionship. I already read that. Like I said, it's just double standards. People, they always find a way to justify their own nonsense. But even if I was bitter, I mean, I don't. That still doesn't address any of the points that have been conveyed. Like I could say all the people who don't agree with me are idiots. That's not me addressing anything that they're saying. I need to chill, but you're the one swearing like you're in the zoo. Dio says men don't need women for those things. Also, women get friendship and companionship income from multiple men. Yeah, like the ones online. Yeah, Music Fiend spammed something. I don't even know what he's saying. And then he puts it in caps locks like he's trying to scream through text. Talking about I need to chill, but then you're the one cursing at somebody. That's very ironic of you to do that. You got all these people in here speaking respectfully and talking like statesmen, and then you want to come in here swearing. No, I don't read books. I just stare at the pages. They provide their companionship online. No one is attacking you. We just don't care about you promoting your savior on this channel. Yeah, how come I never get that? Like, no one on my channel goes into, like, somebody else's and goes, you gotta listen to Justin. He'll show you the way. He'll say the thought-provoking things that can sway. Like, why is my channel ground zero for the romance tutors to show up to be advertised? That is so weird. I remember Jimmy Neutron. Okay, so it's because he's a professor, we have to watch him. Like, I don't understand. Now, this is very confusing. You know what is psychology about? Here we go with the psychologist. Yeah, this is very like off topic. Like when you have to bring up somebody else to make your own points, I don't really get it. Go watch them instead of trying to promote their channel on here. How ridiculous is that? People that have like 10, 20 times the number of subs as me get their channel promoted here. like like I'm like coming and saying something to me is gonna do something for them. That is nuts. I mean, I don't control your recommended. If you're confused, just go watch somebody else. I'm not your hands, I'm not your fingers. You can go view another person. Envoy says, LOL, the six-figure thing craps me up, Justin. It would be okay if they said I wanted a man who can provide for themselves and me, but they go to this magically six-figure quota. And it's really crazy, too, because I don't even see chicks saying that. It's mostly men that are, like, putting words in their mouths. Like, it's men writing to me about what I need to do to support abroad, and then the broads themselves aren't the ones saying that. Well, I don't think the other guy is a troll. He's just because I've had people do that before. Why are you in my recommended? I'm like, well, hell, I'm not making you watch me. Yeah, well, they decide to come near the end. They're the 11th hour ranger. I don't think English is his first language because some of the stuff he's typing is kind of yeah. Like I don't get why a professor has anything to do with the points I'm making. Was this professor there when I got turned down? Like, you know, I don't really get it. Anyways, let me ignore him. So, Megumi, do you have anything else to say? James, do you have anything else to say? Envoy, do you have anything else to say? Because we can wrap this up. We are basically in a period of history where human accountability is at its lowest. Yeah, I'm good, James. No, thank you. I'm not saying block him, but I'm not going to read that anymore. The place of non-readers. Yeah, that's a antagonistic comment. Can the professor provide the insight on the dingbat? He's going to be like, I have analyzed and concluded that her desire to have a child that she could not afford stems from irresponsibility, which is uh, effectively has roots within her childhood. Agumi, do you have anything else to say? Because wonder what happened to. Oh, he doesn't put up videos anymore, but I think he still is on YouTube. He just isn't, like that. That's the thing about the chick stuff. At a certain point, if that's the only thing you talk about, you kind of, I want to say you reach an apex, but it's a little bit harder to, actively put stuff up. Let's see what else is here. Also, men prop up lower value women too much, like when she got kids. Well, like I said, I just haven't seen chicks told to jump through the number of hoops that they want a man to. Like I don't see any chicks being told they have to go to the gym to go on a date. I don't see any of them being told they need to have six figures. That's why I said the world is so backwards that you could literally have as a man six figures, and then people will tell you that some girl or woman is like out of your league, not because she owns more or has done something of great noteworthiness, but because they think she's prettier than you. Even though if they're men, they're supposed to not find you attractive as much as her anyway. So it's just this really weird dichotomy. If anything, they overvalue them so much to the point they devalue themselves as men. Yeah, I don't see where it's of value to me to have my time wasted by a bunch of people that aren't interested in me. But that's why I said that when you're the man, you are told that the only thing that matters about you is whether you can get with the woman. So your dreams, your aspirations are supposed to take a backseat to this person. Imagine someone telling bras they need double DS to get with the bum. Hey, Envoy, imagine you're like a chick, right? And you come out of your I don't know, let's say you work at, just some, let's say McDonald's or something, right? And then some guy is like in the subway on his like last burger and he's got like ripped up pants or whatever, and then people are like, he's so pretty, but if you want to ask him on a date, you need to make sure you move up in the business world. You're like, what? Really? Like, I wouldn't even say he's anywhere close to being my equal, let alone someone that's my superior because you think he's more attractive than me. No, you would never see that happen, but you would see it happen if it's some broad because again, if someone thinks they're attractive, they can get away with having nothing to their name. It's just a really sad cycle, but again, people they like this nonsense. No, you don't need to write a goodbye message. Just go away. We're better off not reading any more nonsense. Because in many cases, that's exactly what's going on, but the guy's having to do that with the broads. Yeah. Again, it's too unnecessarily curved in their favor. Like I said, every time I see a dingbat with the baby, I just think about how you get nothing after logging on all these websites or talking to all these chicks year after year, but then some broad gets asked out by a guy who she subsequently uses to pay for her nonsense, and then they end up with what is effectively closer to a family than you'll get. I think that is really screwed up, and I have every right to be pissed off over that. It's just a really ridiculous, twisted situation. Like I said, that's what happens when you overvalue chicks, when you make them, you know, mean so much compared to the man that like they don't have to do any of this stuff. Yeah, because again, people write stuff online, but the real world trumps the computer. So, you can be told all kind of stuff on here. Okay, but you announced you were leaving, so I don't like. Why are you still here? Imagine if I go to some store and I'm like, "Hey, everybody, I'm getting out of here," and then I close the door, and then like less than a minute later, "Hey, everybody, I'm back." But listen, I'm actually going to leave. I don't have fake exits. So, thanks Megumi for showing up. Thanks James for showing up. Thanks Envoy for showing up. And to that other person with that name I can't pronounce, stop swearing. This isn't a trash TV talk show. You will talk in turn or you will be banned. And I'll probably do a stream on Monday as well. So I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your Saturday.